Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of the Killer Author Club. Every night is exciting, but tonight is super exciting because we have our very own Killer Kaira back in the Killer Author Club hot seat. And we have a super special guest filling in for Killer Kimberly. So please welcome Bookstagrammer Gare Billings, otherwise known as Gare Indeed Reads. Will any of us survive? Obviously, we have tons to talk about, so grab your cocktail and your list of questions, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Welcome to the Killer Author Club. 3 best-selling authors talking about killing, of the fictional kind, with the best thriller and suspense authors in the business. Killer conversations, killer cocktails, and killer guests, with your hosts, Kimberly Bell, Heather Gutenkopf, and Kaira Ruda. This is the Killer Author Club.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new members and to the Killer Author Club OGs on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Wherever you are watching, we are so glad to have you here. I'm Killer Heather Gutenkopf.
Oh, me. I'm Killer Kaira Ruda.
And I'm guest killer Gare Billings.
Yay. And we are so going to miss Kimberly tonight, but we are excited to have Gare here with us and to have Killer Kaira talking about her newest book here in the Killer Author Clubhouse. We'll be talking all about the second Mrs. Strom. And like always, we've got tons of killer fun planned for you tonight. Speaking of fun, though, how about some fun in your inbox? We are launching our hot off the press newsletter next week. And if you'd like to be the first to know about our big plans, and I do mean big, then sign up tonight at killerauthorclub.com. So, but first of all, we do need to introduce our very special guest host tonight. From upstate New York, Gare has been part of the Bookstagram community since 2017, where he found a community of people to bond with over the love of reading. Combined with his love of books and movies, he's the guy who loves to create a Hollywood cast as part of the review process for his favorite books. If you haven't seen it yet, you have to go on over to Instagram. It's so much fun. Creates the whole cast for the books that you love.
And I put his link in the comments too, so you can
Thank you.
Growing up, Gare loved thriller and horror movies and could not get enough of the Goosebump and Fear Street books. The Scholastic Book Fair was his second Christmas, mine too. And now as a blogger, he gets the same enjoyment when a nice pile of book mail comes through the door. But before we get to the second Mrs. Strom, Kaira and I and our viewers are so curious as how you became a book influencer, Gare. I mean, people flock all over to find you. So tell us about how you got started.
Yeah, I have always been an avid reader. So I used to post a picture on my personal Instagram of whatever book I was reading that I was into that I would recommend to people. And then as I started to go out for dinner and drinks and stuff, people would actually come up to me and say, I really like the book that you put on your Instagram. Like, what else are you reading? And then I ended up through a friend finding out about Bookstagram, and, you know, in upstate New York, when it's January and there's nothing to do, I was like, well, I might as well just give it a try, see if I can give it a try and go from there. And then that's just kind of how it took off.
I think you stuck the landing. It's great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's a real testament to that community you've built. It's very warm, welcoming, and you know, that pure joy and love of books. So
yeah, it's really
so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you so much.
A reminder, please drop your questions for Kaira into the comment section, and for Gare if you have any, and we will scour them and ask Kaira all the tough burning questions about her newest thriller. But in the meantime, Gare, would you do the honors and introduce Killer Kaira?
Of course. Besides being one of the killers, Kaira is an award-winning USA Today and Amazon charts bestselling author of contemporary fiction that explores what goes on beneath the surface of seemingly perfect lives. Her novels of domestic suspense include The Widow, Somebody's Home, The Next Wife, The Favorite Daughter, Best Day Ever, and All the Difference. Her first novel about the Kingsleys beneath the surface has been optioned for feature film. Kaira is Very Busy Killer. Under the Palms came out in May of this year, followed by The Next Mrs. Strom, which releases last week. And then What the Nanny Saw will be out in November 2024. She has also been active in areas of homelessness, food security, and empowering women and girls. In her 20s, as a volunteer, she created the first walk-in emergency shelter for homeless families in Central Ohio. Kaira has received numerous awards for her community service, including the National Kiwanis Service to Mankind Award, the Ohio Sertoma Service to Mankind Award, and Kick-Ass Woman of Orange County by Orange Coast Magazine. Kaira was appointed by Governor Gavin Newsome to the California Volunteers Commission, and she lives in Southern California with her family. Well, congrats, Kaira, and welcome.
So, Kaira, I just get like I feel like I do not do much with my life whenever I hear your bio. You are amazing. You have so much energy and do so much for others. It's really, really cool to see. But I got to ask you, how was your day, Kaira? How was your day?
Yeah, it's really been a beautiful day, Heather. So thank you for asking. It's great when your Facebook page gets hacked. So yeah, and especially right during launch week, which is awesome stuff. So my Kaira Ruda Books Facebook page, don't go there and like anything right now because I do not really have control of any of the contents that's there. Just avert your eyes. We'll get it back at one point or another, not this point. So right now we're streaming to my Kaira Sturdivant Ruda page, which is my personal page. And a lot of these folks have not heard from me since like 2005. So I'm sorry if you're actually seeing this on my personal page. And I hope you'll join the Killer Author Club. We really have a lot of fun. And if you're not into that, don't do anything mean because we've already got that going on my Facebook page on the page side. But anyway, so that's my day. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
The killers, we do not like hackers.
No, we do not like hackers. We really don't. And we don't like all these animal videos they're posting. It's atrocious. But anyway, it has nothing to do with books over there at the moment, but we'll be back. We can't even stream to my page tonight because of all of that. But anywho, it's fine. Everything's fine. All is well. There we go.
Does that mean your bio for the next episode is going to be like internet crime sleuth when you take this person down?
I am.
Like add one more thing to your roster.
You know what? I think so, Gary, because this is really honking me up. Like, why do you care? Like getting into just an author's Facebook page. It's just stupid and not nice. And somebody's parents should have taught them better, is all I have to say.
They definitely should. But they picked, if they're going to pick a popular author,
So
somebody out there picked you over Stephen King. So I would be patting myself on the shoulder.
Just not sure that's true, Gary. He probably has a lot more sophisticated security around his Facebook page. I mean, all you can do too is like push this help button. I've been hacked, and then they'll get back to you whenever they get back to you. Like if Stephen King had that, they'd be like, "Oh shoot, Stephen King, we got to fix that right away." I'm just guessing.
I think they would prioritize you.
We'll see. It's been 2 days, Kara, 2 days during launch week, which is great. But the good news is the second Mrs. Strom is only 99 cents for Kindle right now. And that's like a first during launch week for me. So you would know that if you were on my Facebook books page, but not this launch. Anyway.
We'll post that everywhere. Mm-hmm. All the killers will post it everywhere. So
thank you.
Run and get that.
My publisher's like, you're not really sharing the deal. I'm like, nope, I'm sharing cows being born at the moment. I don't know why. No. Again, don't go there, please. Don't engage with these videos. They're not my videos.
Take her word for it.
Take my word for it. I just went there quickly. I'm like,
no.
Oh boy.
So funny. So I think we're about ready. In fact, maybe you could give us an elevator speech for the second Mrs. Strom.
Back to books. Okay, so if you guys read Best Day Ever, which I hope you did, but if you didn't, you don't need to. It's not. There's standalone sequels, but in Best Day Ever, I introduced a character named Paul Strom, and he was taking his first wife on a romantic trip to their cottage for the weekend, and he called the first day of their drive up there together at the Best Day Ever. So now he is with his second wife, and her name's Cecilia, and they're celebrating their 1-year anniversary in Paris, the City of Lights. So he's whisked her away for this anniversary weekend, and the first day when you meet them, it might be her best day ever. It might be his best day ever. We just don't know. And this story, it's kind of more of a cat and mouse because Cecilia, his second wife, has her own point of view. And I really like Cecilia's point of view. Just no spoilers. But anyway, I hope you guys will check it out. I had a lot of fun writing it. It's fun to like stomp around in Paris in your imagination. And that's what I got to do. So anyway.
It's very fun.
It's so good. There are some little Easter eggs in there too for people who've read The Best Day Ever. One that I have to talk to you about, but
okay, good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So Kaira, we talked about our favorite cocktails, and you have a special cocktail for tonight. So anybody who wants fun recipes for drinks or just ideas of how to pair the book you're reading with a cocktail, go to killerauthorclub.com under the tab Killer Cocktails. But Kaira, you chose champagne. Can you tell us why?
Well, apparently I'm really bad at cocktails, so I'll do better next time, I think. But, when you think about Paris, champagne just kind of comes straight to your mind, I think. And they do drink champagne in the book, and I don't know, it's pretty, it's just a simple, elegant drink. So that's why I chose it. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers, and congratulations on another amazing book.
Thank you.
Kaira, what are you drinking?
I don't drink, so I have it's called the company's called Clearly Canadian, and it's like flavored seltzer waters, but they actually taste kind of like a cocktail, but they're a little bubbly, so it's kind of fun. But I have a wicked raspberry.
Oh, nice. I'm drinking water tonight too, but I love like sparkling water. That's my go-to.
I do too. And this one's like a little like sweet, and it kind of tastes like more like a mocktail, so it's like good for like at night. I don't think I could drink them all day.
Well, cheers, you guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh, and Garrett, it's your turn.
Well, we're going to talk about the Killers book talk. So the Killers started the Killer Author Club 2 years ago so that readers like you and me can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the biz. The summer-fall lineup includes superstars like Robert Dugoni, Geneva Rose, Jeffrey Deaver, and Isabel Maldonado, and so many more. For dates, times, past episodes, etc., surf to killerauthorclub.com. But tonight, we're going to talk about the second Mrs. Strom, Kiara Ruda's latest thriller, and the excitement from Goodread reviews is real. Thrill by the Page said, "I am jealous of every person who has yet to read this one, as I would love to experience it again and go a tad bit slower so I squeeze in every last bit of goodness out of it. I barely survived that book coaster." Another Goodreads reviewer says, "OMG, Ruda's books are like dark, guilty pleasures that I sinfully devour every time I get my hands on them. She does Psycho perfectly. I absolutely loved it. A must read in my opinion." So, Kara, obviously you are prolific and, might we say, a little psycho killer. Now we need to know your answer to the killer question. Why do you kill?
Gare, that's a great question. I think it is because I can. And I really enjoy it. So, when you find something that you love to do, then you just want to keep doing it over and over and over again. I mean, fictionally speaking, of course.
Right.
Fictionally. Yes.
Fictionally speaking. Yeah.
Yes. And you've written a lot of books, so you've killed in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. I do like the subtle killing the best, though. Paul gets a little carried away in this book, but most of the time I kind of like it a little more sneaky.
Yeah. Well, and Paul, we love him. He's back, and we both Gare and I love Best Day Ever, obviously, and we were so happy to learn you've written this follow-up. Why did you continue decide to continue Paul's story? What made you go back into his creepy little world?
Yeah, when a book like a character sticks with you, and he really did, and he's been kind of rumbling around in the back of my brain while I've been writing other stories, and my agent actually suggested it, and she's like, you know what? I think we need to hear from Paul again. I'm like, oh gosh, he would love that because he's rolling around. So it was so fun and kind of really easy in a sense because I already knew his entire character. I just had to figure out where he'd been since we last saw him. So it's 5 years later, and he had kind of lickety split it out of Ohio and headed down to Florida, and that's where we find him. And it was really fun to write.
Yeah, Paul's one of my favorite bad guys ever. I think I said like he makes Patrick Bateman from American Psycho blush. And there's definitely a reason why the internet dubbed him Creepy Paul. He's despicable, but also charming and funny. So why do readers, like including me, still love him?
I mean, hopefully you're attracted to his dark humor. I kind of am a fan of dark humor, and I do think that's part of his charm. Just because you're reading along and you're like, wait, what is he up to? But then he like delivers a line that makes you kind of chuckle, and that's his way of throwing you off what he's really up to. But I do like that part of him that he can make you laugh while he's also terrifying you at the same time.
He's funny. He is funny. But we also get to meet Cecilia Strom, Paul's beautiful, smart, and dare I say, equally conniving new wife. Where did the inspiration for Cecilia come from?
Because I'm a pantser, there's a writing by the seat of your pants. That means that when his new young wife popped into my head, she just popped into my head. I knew that he was kind of stalking around in Palm Beach looking for his, I don't know, like at his money. He needs money. So he found an older woman that he could kind of escort around town and become her, I don't know, constant companion. And so when she passed away, he had convinced her that her estate should go to him. So anyway, so I knew that he'd been doing that. But once he got money again, then he was free to kind of pursue his passions, which would be a younger woman that he thinks that he can manipulate. And that's Cecilia.
So good. So good. So it's very cinematic. The books are, both Best Day Ever and the second Mrs. Strom. So, like, Gary, you're the expert in casting. Do you have any ideas for any of these characters? I have a mind, but what do you think?
For Paul, I was thinking of Corey Stoll. He was in House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, but he just has like some roles he's so like charming, and like other he's like a really good villain. So like I automatically picked him as Paul. In Cecilia, I would love to see either Margot Robbie or an actress named Samara Weaving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they would just like absolutely crush the character of Cecilia when she's trying to be, charming and sweet, and then sometimes where she just kind of takes a jab at Paul in like a little sassy way.
Her own for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that
choice.
It would be fun. But much of the novel takes place in Paris, and you include some iconic Parisian spots throughout the book, including, which one's your favorite?
I know, it was fun. My husband and I took a trip to Paris. It wasn't our anniversary, but it was that's where I got the idea, I guess, of where the setting should be. And unfortunately, like a lot of the places that I have in the book, I had stacked our reservations. So the Baccarat room for lunch, I had booked that. And then I also had the Eiffel Tower for dinner, which I was all excited about. And then we got food poisoning the night before. And so we missed all of those places.
Oh, no.
It was so tragic. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wait. And you can't get a refund from these places. It's like, it's done. So when we finally started feeling better, which was like literally like 2.5 days later, I still made my husband go and like pretend like we were going to all these places just so I could kind of stomp through the community and the neighborhood. But I do, one of the things, so the Eiffel Tower is in the book, of course, and fabulous cafes, but one of the most interesting things that happened while we were there, after we recovered from food poisoning, we got dropped off or we were taking an Uber back to our hotel, and the street was blocked off. And I'm like, oh, what's happening? And he's like, I can't drive any further. There must be something going on. So we're like, okay, well, we can walk. So we start walking, and we come across like it's Nazis everywhere. There's people in Nazi uniforms. There's like cars from World War II. There's like, it's like the whole street has been transformed into, luckily it was a movie set. Like, what are you guys doing? And they were filming the Coco Chanel story that, which, I didn't know it at the time. And I guess we should all know it. She was kind of a Nazi sympathizer, and she was staying at our hotel during this time. Our hotel was the headquarters for the Nazis, but they were filming it across the street and like turned that hotel into it. So it was a little, it's dark. So I mentioned that a little bit in the book because it was kind of a startling sight when you're just coming back to the hotel for the evening.
Very unsettling. Not Coco Chanel.
Yeah.
I know she was, but but I think a lot of people did what they had to do to survive too. So if you watch the movie and it has Christian Dior and all the designers in it, all the men designers were designing for Nazi wives. So she's not the only person that did this. She's just, she went a little deeper than the rest of them. But anyway, it's a hard time, and but it was really scary to like see all that just
I can imagine
on the street at night.
Sure. And you recently got to go back to Paris.
Yes.
And were you able to do some of the things that you weren't able to do the first time?
A little bit. We were there for the Paris Olympics, which was amazing, and a lot of the things that you see, we were at beach volleyball, and so we were right next to the Eiffel Tower. We didn't get a chance to eat there, but we were right there, like up on kind of on a platform. So, I could just stomp around Paris for years. I mean, like just anytime if anybody says, "You want to go to Paris?" I'm like, absolutely. I mean, like anybody tell me go to Paris. But yeah, it was beautiful and fun, and no food poisoning. Thank goodness.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and Snoop Dogg was there, and then Flavor Flav, I met him. Yes, he was sponsoring the women's water polo, and he was at this reception where we were. And I look over, and it was before he'd gotten much publicity yet. And there's this guy, this huge, sparkling diamond stop timer, like the water. I'm like, oh my goodness, who is that? And my friend and I went over and started talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I want to help these women. We got to win, and they shouldn't be working 3 jobs. That's where I came in, and he's like telling us the whole story. So cool. And then he took a little selfie with us. And then his handlers came and took him away, but he was amazing.
That is so cool. You know what, Garrett? Kimberly and Kaira are like world traveling killers. They go to all these fun places, and I'm sitting in the middle of a cornfield. I just want you to know that.
I just want you to know that I am so far upstate in New York that I'm like, I go to Canada to get my groceries. So I'm right there with you. There's like cornfields, Amish, and no sidewalks.
Where I'm at.
That's why you guys are so nice, because you are. Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that's nice. That's nice of you to say. But there's a quote that Paul says. It's like, he says, PRS, almost a person, just missing a couple things. So he's kind of self-aware about what he's lacking.
In a way, but then he's also kind of proud of it too, right?
Yeah.
Like he feels superior because he's lacking. Like he's not weak. Emotions to him would make you weak.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What kind of research did you have to do into his mind?
I'm kind of fascinated with these folks. So they crop up quite often in my books, and I'm not really sure why, but I didn't know at the time when I was writing Best Day Ever, but Paul is literally an amalgamation of all my worst bosses ever, like the sexist, misogynist. All their words were still and actions were still in my head. So he just kind of came to life naturally as like kind of an amalgamation of Wes and Myron and Jay, and like can go on. But anyway,
they're their real names.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, I love it.
They know who they are. They know what they did. Yes. So anyway, but yeah, that's maybe why I kill revenge. I don't know.
Yeah. Good reason.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, what about the twists? Particularly the ones in the end that had me screaming in all the best ways. At what point in the writing the story did you know that this was going to happen?
Yeah, see, my characters surprise me, like they really do. I'll be writing, and then all of a sudden, one of them will do something, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You just did that right now?" Which I love. It's so fun to be in the space that you're doing that, and your characters are so real and so controlling the narrative. I guess that they do something like that. That happened in Beneath the Surface too, and I was like terrified. I'm like, "Did you just do that?" And I had to go running downstairs. I was so scared. But anyway, yeah, they do that stuff all the time to me, which is, I mean, it's, I guess it can kind of make you go, what's next? But so far, so good. I usually can get them out of whatever's next. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool that like you're surprised as much writing it as your readers are reading it. So like they kind of like connect with you.
it's so fun. Yeah. And I love that when people get surprised, because there's so much, domestic suspense and psychological fiction out right now, that if I can still surprise people a little bit, it's such a, it's an honor. It's an honor.
And we're not done with Paul yet, right? Tell us what's coming in November, right?
Right. So, What the Nanny Saw is coming in November, and it's actually another standalone sequel. I didn't even know that was a thing. But so, in other words, you don't have to read the other two to make sense of it all. But, Cecilia's back, Paul's back, and yeah, we'll just see what they're up to. There's also a new character named Lizzie, who's the loving nanny. So,
Ooh, very
Can't wait to meet her.
well.
Yeah.
We could go on forever asking you questions, Kaira, but we are a really fun part of our show where it's the killer giveaway, the killer give-a-yay. So Kaira is giving away 3 copies of the next Mrs. Strom to U.S. viewers. It doesn't matter if you're watching us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please to make sure you shout out where you're from. But the killer question of the week is for Kaira: which of Killer Kaira's books have been optioned for film? So drop that into the comments. Let us know where you're from, and you will get a chance at one of 3 copies of the second Mrs. Strom.
Yay.
Yeah. And for the killer bookseller of the week, the killers love indies and we want to support them in any way that we can. That's why we ask every author to tell us their favorite.
Here we go.
Kaira has chosen Laguna Beach Books in Laguna, California. Kaira, can you tell us why?
Sure. They're our town's only bookstore, and it's so vital to have. I mean, we have this beautiful beach town where people come to visit from all over the place, all over the world, really, and it would be just such a shame to not have a bookstore. So there, it's so amazing what Jane Hanover and her team has done to keep a bookstore in Laguna Beach. So that's why I really appreciate them.
Yeah, bookstore on the beach. Can't beat that.
Yeah, I know. They actually, it's right on Coast Highway, so it's a great location too.
Yeah.
And we'll be dropping the link for the second Mrs. Strom in the comments, so you can order along with any others on your wish list.
Yay.
And so obviously we killers love to read, and the Killer Author Club is the place to share your love for fabulous books. So post pictures, write reviews, ask for recommendations, give yours. We love it when our TBR cups runneth over, which is why we want to ask Kaira, what are you currently reading?
Oh my gosh. You know what's amazing, you guys? Today I went to lunch with a friend, and she gave me I don't know what it'd be called, like a original copy of V.C. Andrews, The Flower in the
Attic?
Flowers in the
Attic.
Attic?
The Attic. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Original,
wow.
like first edition?
Yes, that's the word. Yes. Yeah. I should have brought
That's
it up.
exciting.
Isn't that crazy? It's beautiful. It's so beautiful to hold, and it's all old and smelly. It's great.
A whole generation of thriller readers and writers were first traumatized and began.
Sure. It's almost like when you touch it, you get traumatized again in a good way. Then you're like,
have you read it? Have you read Flowers in the Attic, Gary?
I did in high school. I like went through like a VC Andrews stage, but all of her books are so like disturbing and dark
Yeah.
that like I was like, oh my goodness, like these are just like it was my first like dive into like psychological books like hers. But yeah, it's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
So
I
good.
know. It was really fun. So I
That's-
haven't read it yet. But I've got it sitting downstairs and I'm so excited to just crack it open
That's
again.
cool. You'll have to post some pictures of it when you get your Facebook page back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not go to my Facebook page now. If you want to find me, you can come to my personal page where everyone's stunned that's on my personal page that I'm back again. So I'm sorry again to all of my friends from high school who are like, oh, I didn't even know she was an author. Yep. Yeah. I am.
What kind of books is she writing?
I know, right? Right. Now we're traumatizing them. Oh, geez. Okay. It's not good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of amazing reads, we have a new one to add to your top lane TBR. Check out One of Us is Dead by the amazing Peter James. So in One of Us is Dead, it is the 20th Roy Grace novel, which pits James's famous detective superintendent against a stealthy psychotic killer, taking readers from Brighton to Barbados and deep inside the dark web. Grace and his trusted colleague, Detective Inspector Glenn Branson, grapple with suspicious deaths that seem too fortunate to be accidents, and a chilling question: just how dangerous can a dead man be? So Peter is giving away 3 copies to 3 lucky US viewers. Drop a comment if you'd like to be entered for this book, and remember to tell us where you're from. Good luck.
Yeah. And membership has its privileges. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Clubhouse. And speaking of the Clubhouse, as of Wednesday, August 21st, the Killers have merged their 2 Facebook groups. Their private group, the Killer Author Clubhouse, is now the place where all the killer magic can be found. Here's what you need to do. If you're not already a member, just request to join. We'll drop the link in the comments. Besides all the fun in the group, on every episode, the Killers choose a name from the KAC Clubhouse hat to win a piece of KAC swag. T-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats, all of which can be found at killerauthorclub.com. Tonight's winner is Sue Street. Please send one of us killers your address and we'll send some killer author swag your way.
Congratulations to Sue.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Very, very, very. Kaira and Gare, I think we have double survivors today. I am so happy to say that you both survived the Killer Author Club.
Here.
That's
We made
exciting.
And, we will
Really
send
excited.
you that badge. You can print it off, put it up on the wall with all your lovely books there, Gare, and
Yeah.
Kira, all your awards, and or wear it proudly.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I know
That's
you are our
exciting.
first. We are our first Bookstagram survivor, Gare. So you're the. I know it's pretty special. So.
That is really cool. It's kind of
know.
like surviving the end of like a horror movie, but this is way more fun.
Thank goodness you had fun. Yeah.
You're the smart one at the end of the horror movie.
Yeah,
You didn't
I
go
made it.
into the barn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
You made
Oh,
it.
gosh.
So that does it for tonight's episode. So thank you to everyone for tuning in, and thanks so much for Gare for joining us. So make sure you check out his Instagram page at Gare Reads Indeed, and his most anticipated thrillers of fall of 2024 at shereads.com, and we'll drop that link as well. We can't let the night go by also without wishing Book Reporter a very happy 28th birthday. And a big thank you for sharing all the Killer Author Club news with their readers. For all your bookish news and reviews, check them out at bookreporter.com. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks on our usual Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific with one and only Sandra Block. I love Sandra. She'll be talking all about her newest book, The Bachelorette Party. So in the meantime, you can find us wasting entirely too much time on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and all the places. And for all the information you need, times, upcoming schedules, past episodes, recipes, and merch, please travel to killerauthorclub.com. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a great night.
Yay. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
That does it for tonight's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to catch our next show live, we're every other Tuesday night on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For times, upcoming schedule, and to catch up on past episodes, visit us at killerauthorclub.com. Happy reading. Now get on out there and kill that TBR.